Jones, four-time NBA champ Horace Grant. Four times more than Barkley.
Well,
Four times more than Karl Malone.
wow. Am I a Hall of Famer yet? No, not yet.
You're on the mix. How many years you play? 16?
Yeah, 17.
17.
17 years and fantastic 17 years. Yeah.
Jalen always has a joke about keep getting them checks in the last couple of years where it's like, had the great career, finished it, but then those last couple, those gravy train years, you had a couple of those, right? Those are fun years.
Great years. I mean, no one expects anything out of you anymore, and you just sit there and you go in and play it 5 or 10 minutes, and you get that gravy check.
Veteran in the clubhouse, give the young guys advice. Don't do this, stay away from her, put the cards away, all that stuff.
That's all you do.
You
sit there and you go out and you give your 6 fouls, and you have a couple of beers afterwards, and you go home.
That sounds like a great job. Do you think? Because they always talk about this with the young teams, where it's like, oh, we need a veteran, we need somebody older guy who's been around the block. You must feel like there's real value in that with some of these teams.
I'm a true believer in veteran leadership.
Yeah.
You have guys come in right out of high school or 1 year of college or even 2 years of college. They need that good veteran leadership to tell them what to do, not to do. Stay away from this, get your rest, get your sleep. And a lot of kids in the past few years haven't had that veteran leadership, and, they become hotheads.
Right. Give me an example of somebody you played with the last, 5-6 years in Seattle or Orlando or wherever that you felt like, some 21, 22-year-old, whatever, that you felt like, all right, I'm having an impact on this guy.
Well, I would say I had 2 rookies when I was in Orlando.
Yeah.
And Matt Harpering.
Yeah.
And Michael Doliak.
Oh.
Those were my 2 rookies.
You took them under your wing?
Took them under my wing, and just fantastic guys to this very day. And Mark Madsen. When I was with the Lakers. Mark Madsen.
The Mad Dog.
The Mad Dog. I took him under my wing because great guy.
Yeah.
And I didn't want him to hurt me in practice.
Right. Straight elbow.
He gave the Lakers every inch of energy that he had, and that's what they were asking for.
I noticed you were wearing one of your rings, and I asked you which ring you were. Mm-hmm. You were wearing 92. Yeah. So you won 91, 92, 93.
Correct.
And then you won 01 with the Lakers.
Correct.
So why'd you pick 92 as your here's my ring?
Well, every NBA championship is special, and they're difficult to come by, as Charles and Patrick and Carl would know. But Portland was, for me personally, the most difficult one, just because of, Terry Porter, a big guard, Clyde, you have Buck Williams, Jerome Kersey, and the late Duckworth. You have Cliff Robinson coming off the bench. That team matched up with us during that finals like no other team.
Wow.
And I
would have thought 93 Phoenix would have been your toughest team.
No, just because of Portland was so athletic.
Right.
And Buck Williams, one of the power forward that bangs with me. Not taking anything away from Phoenix. Phoenix was a tough bunch of guys also, but they weren't as physical as Portland.
So I felt like watching that just as a fan in 92, Jordan was just at his peak. It just never felt like he was losing a series that year, and you guys just were running on all cylinders, and you were hitting your prime. Scotty was really getting close to his prime, and I couldn't see you guys losing, but in 93 Knicks I felt like the closest. That was the one where it's like you watched that Charles Smith game. Mm-hmm. By the way, how many fouls were committed on that last play?
Not one.
Not one? The Knicks fans claim there were a lot of fouls in that play.
Bill, we sat there and we rolled the tape back, slow motion.
Right.
And not one foul. Michael hit the ball.
Right.
One. I hit the ball. Scotty hit the ball.
All 3 of you had blocks.
Hey, blocks. It was blocks. And if Charles had went up a little tougher and put his elbows out or something, maybe he would have got a foul, but
Well, in his defense, he had three of the best athletes in the league trying to block his shot at the same time. I'm sure he was kind of like.
but if he had done something different, it could have been different. But we were on a mission that year.
Would you say that was the number one win of those 3 years, or was there another one you'd pick?
No, that was, no question. That was the number one win of that playoff that year for us, because we were down 0-2 going back to Chicago, and then we won the 2.
And Jordan's taking a lot of heat for that he went to Atlantic City, and there's like a whole subplot with him. People are just picking him apart left and right.
And we supposed to have played the game a couple of days later, but something happened with the league, and the game we had
the schedule got screwed
yeah,
up.
like 4 or 5 days off, and that gave the Bulls us time to reflect what we need to do, and the media talk radio just ate us apart, and we're a very prideful team. And I remember some radio show said, the Knicks, they're getting in their big 18-wheelers, their pickups, and, they're just a bunch of tough guys. And the Bulls ride around in their Porsches, their Corvettes, and things like. So that crushed us, man. And we were like, okay, now we know what we have to do.
What was it, Game 4? Jordan had 55?
He had 54.
54?
54.
That was one of my favorite Jordan games, because he was just so mad. You could just see, I'm killing everybody in this game.
We were like, okay, we know Michael Jordan as a teammate and as a person. There's no way that we were going to lose Game 3. I mean, if he had to take 100 shots, he would have.
Could you tell, in the locker room from the energy that he had going? You'd be like, uh-oh, that team's in trouble today.
No, we knew that don't talk to him, don't, not a word. You just let him stay where he is in his mind.
Right.
And that was to go out and take care of the Knicks.
A lot of people don't realize that Bulls team, the 91, 92, 93 run, that was the first team where the line got crossed a little bit in terms of information getting let out to the public, because the Jordan rules came out before, I guess it was during the 92 season. And that was the first time a book had really had inside info, and this guy got in an argument with this guy, and this guy said this, and you guys were dealing with that during the season. But nowadays, people deal with that all the time. But back then, that was a new thing.
That was very rare back in that day, because we didn't have all the social media no camera phones. We had the big phones about that big. You hold up like a boom box, and now you have the little tiny phones and the cameras, and stuff just get.
You guys had 4 or 5 newspapers, the local TV channels, 1 radio station, and then Sports Center every once in a while. That was it. You guys were doing your thing. Yeah,
and that was great for us.
Yeah.
All the things that went on with us as a team, we were so happy. Social media wasn't available.
Oh, God. It would have been a disaster. I got the impression you and Jordan, obviously great teammates, respected each other, but it didn't seem like you were totally friends. It seemed like when you went to Orlando, there was a little, you kind of wanted to stick it to them in that series a little bit. How much of that was you feeling like you weren't appreciated by Jordan? How much of that was the Bulls letting you go?
Well, every teammate, you don't get along with every teammate.
Right.
Not at all. If Charles said he got along with KJ every day, that's a lie.
Right.
But we respected each other. We had one goal, and that was to win games, 2 goals, and to win championships. That were our main goal. But a lot of things truly got blown out of proportion. If I voiced my opinion about something, it would get just blown up crazy, Horace and Michael, feud and stuff like that. But it wasn't that much of a big deal.
And you were all young guys too, you and Scotty and Michael. You're all in your early mid-20s, and you're kind of growing up together. So there's a little bit of like a brother dynamic too, right?
Yeah, but we knew Michael was our leader. I mean,
Yeah.
that was, that was no mistaking that point. But Michael is and was the type of guy, he would challenge you and
Yeah.
see where your backbone is. And if you didn't have one, you're going to get shipped out, or you're going to be at the end of the bench.
So you were there when he did that to Brad Sellers, right? I mean, that was one of those guys. He was just like, I'm testing you, and Brad Sellers had to leave.
Yeah, MJ tested everybody on that team.
Yeah.
Everybody. And that's what leaders are all about. You want to test the guys that you're going to go out and you're going to go to battle with, per se, in terms of basketball. And if you didn't fit their mold, he was going to, let you know.
You could write an awesome book if you wanted to, because you played on those teams. You played with Jordan. You were there when he retires. He goes to play baseball. You guys almost really, you could have made the finals the next year without him, which I always thought was amazing. Then you go to the Lakers. Oh, I'm sorry, you go to the Magic. The Shaq and Penny thing's going great. That just self-combusts.
Yeah.
And then you end up on the Lakers with that Kobe Shaq thing. Those are probably three of the most famous kind of rocky, good teams ever.
If I wrote a book, I would probably have to find me a apartment on the moon. So I'm not writing a book anytime
inside
soon.
info?
Yeah.
What do you think happened with Shaq and Penny, though, in your opinion? If you had to sum it up in 10 seconds.
Egos. And it's just a darn shame that all the talent that Shaq and Penny had, Shaq and Kobe, that they couldn't just be one and win championships. And that's what it should have been all about, not who gets the perfect parking space or who get the commercial, this and that. It shouldn't have been that way.
So Shaq and Penny were pretty young.
Yes.
Penny's a great guy, though.
Yeah, I know.
But it seems like back then he did have a little bit of a thing with Shaq, like, well, whose team is this? Well, why do you get this? And then Shaq from his side, like, well, I'm Shaq. This is my team. It's amazing to me that couldn't work out.
It's amazing that people ask who team it is, it was Rich DeVos's team.
Right, he owned the team.
He owns the team. You can have two captains, and Shaq and Penny were our captains. They were our leaders. It's not like you have a defined leader like, say a Magic Johnson or Larry Bird or Michael Jordan. Those are defined leaders. Being a young team like in Orlando, it wasn't just one leader. We had two captains.
Is it fair to say, if that works out, you guys own the second half of that decade? Because think about it, you had Shaq and Penny, yourself. You were still at your peak there for the first couple of years. Brian Shaw.
Nick Anderson.
Dennis
Scott.
I mean, that team that was a couple titles.
My opinion, it would have been more than a couple, because we were maturing as a team. I mean, to go in my first year there, to go to the finals.
Right.
I mean,
and you legitimately beat the Bulls, which somehow the NBA has erased all games and footage from that series, because Jordan was terrible in that series, and now it's been spun, and probably fairly, as he was in baseball shape, had the baseball muscle, came back, 18-game warm-up, but got his ass kicked in that series.
But, I mean, saying that, you have to give the Magic credit that year. I mean, we were on a mission, man. We felt that we were the best team in the league, and especially in the Eastern Conference. We had, Shaq, Penny, Dennis, myself.
You were kind of out of your mind that series, too.
Well, Phil, and matter of fact, I just had lunch with Phil on Friday in L.A. He dared me to shoot and beat them.
15-footers.
Yeah, 15, 17 footers.
Left you
open. And because I didn't get enough shots when I was in Chicago playing with MJ
You could
and
make
Pip.
that shot, though.
Yeah. I mean, made it throughout my my college career, my NBA career, but he was like, Horace going to beat us. And I was told that one of the guys on the team came up to him and said, man, can we have somebody guard him? And Phil was like, no. PJ said, no, we're going to make Horace beat us. and I think I shot over 65% in that series.
Then they like held you up in the air after the last game, I remember.
I didn't want to do that, but Shaq
Shaq did it.
Shaq came to me and he said, "Man, get up on our shoulder." I'm like, "No, no, no, no." And seriously, he really yelled. He was, "You better get up here."
Right.
And he put me up, and the excitement kind of took over.
You know, people always talk about the 6 Bulls titles, and the one kind of fly in the ointment, or whatever that phrase is that they never went against a dominant center in any of those 6 title seasons. When you look at that Orlando series, and Shaq just annihilated them in a couple of those games, do you think, like, let's say Jordan's in the 94 Bulls, Hakeem was in his prime 94, 95, and you guys had to play that Rockets team. One of those 2 years, you have your team with the Bulls. That you have the 93 Bulls, basically. Cartwright's a little older. You're in your prime. Pippen's in your prime. Would that have been the scariest team you played?
You know, with Hakeem, you mean Clyde and Robert Horry.
Ooh,
You can argue. You can argue. You
No,
can
it
say,
seems like you think you had that one.
No. If you know Michael Jordan, no one is going to beat him. In a 7-game series. I mean, when we beat them, when I was with Orlando, he had just got back from baseball. But a healthy Michael Jordan without baseball, I can't see any team ever beating him in a 7-game series.
See, I agree with you.
And I say that in respect to all the great players.
No, you just
But
put
Michael,
2 giant asterisks next to the Houston titles.
But MJ, man, he would find a way to take away Hakeem's dominance.
So the next year in Orlando, 96, the Shaq and Penny thing is self-combusting. You guys have the big rematch against the Bulls, but you got hurt. Where'd you get hurt, in the first half? Everyone forgets that part.
Yeah, I got hurt. I think it was my elbow or something like that.
And you're out.
Yeah, I'm out.
And then somebody else got hurt, and then ended up being a sweep. I think the Bulls probably beat you anyway, but it would have been interesting if everyone was healthy.
I would have loved to have
Yeah.
seen that. I would have loved to have seen that.
Did you feel like Shaq was out of there that season?
No,
You thought he was staying? Because
Yeah.
you had like a 5-year deal. You were
Yeah.
probably praying for him to stay.
You know, he called me, and I didn't return his call before he signed with the Lakers. And to this day, I wish I had have just answered that call, and maybe he would have still been in Orlando.
You didn't return it because you were like
I was
at a
busy doing
casino?
something. Me, gamble, my money away? No. But I heard about it, I saw it on the news, and Bill, seriously, like someone hit me, like Mike Tyson hit
Well,
me.
because you knew.
Yeah.
You can't recover from that.
You
It's
cannot.
impossible.
You cannot recover from a guy that size in his prime, that dominant, to think that you're going to win a championship. No, absolutely not.
People forget how good Penny Hardaway was, though.
Oh,
I mean, he hurts his knee after that next season,
yeah.
but was the second best guard in the league.
I wish people just, Google. Just go and look at the highlights of a Penny Hardaway in his prime, healthy.
6'8".
6'8", can pass, shoot, explosive, just high IQ basketball-wise out there on the court. If that guy had been healthy, you can say he could have been a first ballot Hall of Famer.
So you played with Penny as he's coming up, and then you play with Kobe as he's basically in the same age range coming up on the Lakers.
Yeah.
Who was more talented?
Talent. Oh man, that's very tricky. Talent, they're both right there. I can't say one is more talented.
So you think Penny could have been at least as good as Kobe's career if he
yeah.
stays healthy?
Oh,
Because I agree with you.
Without a doubt.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm serious. You're talking about 6'7", 6'8", can see the floor, 3-pointers, drive to the basket, assist, you name it. His all-around game.
Who was more fun to play with?
Fun to play with. Okay, fun to play with.
Because I judge all basketball players by how fun they would have been to play with. You would have been fun to play with.
I would say fun to play with. Shaq.
Shaq, you didn't even answer. Unbelievable.
I think to fun to play with, they were both fine with me, man. If I
Political, diplomatic answer.
If I had to pick one, I would say Penny.
Can we at least say Penny would have noticed in the third quarter, like, oh shit, Horace only has 4 shots. I got to get him involved a couple times.
No,
he would have been more likely to come to that conclusion. Correct?
Yeah, Penny. You can go up and say, Penny, I need a couple shots, man. Okay, all right, I'm gonna get you the ball.
Right.
Hey, Kobe would say, hey, get it off the rebound.
Yeah, Horace, go down there. Does it make you, like, when people bring up the Kobe versus Jordan things, that you played with both of them at fairly similar points of their career? Mm-hmm. Do you just make a face? I mean, it's amazing to me that people compare anybody to Jordan. I think LeBron's the first guy that at least we can discuss it, but it's still, he's not there yet.
No, I mean, don't compare anybody to Michael Jordan. I mean, I've seen it firsthand. I mean, I played with MJ, Kobe, Penny, but MJ is in a class by himself, man. I'm telling you, from the standpoint of how strong he was, athletic, and that drive, that killer instinct, that if we're up by 30 points, he's not satisfied.
He wants to hurt somebody's feelings.
Yes, yeah, he want to send you home, and he want to see you crying out the door, literally tears in your eyes. He wants you to have nightmares about playing him and the Bulls.
Yeah,
and that, I mean, I saw it a little bit in Kobe, but not to the extent of a Michael Jordan, man. Michael Jordan is just, I say, the best.
Steve Kerr said that 72-win season, there was probably 8 or 9 games when the team was just dead. Mm-hmm. And Jordan was like, no, we're not losing. I'm just not letting it happen. And that was the reason the 72 wins, which is why I'm fairly confident that might not happen again. I think Oklahoma City would have had a chance if they didn't trade James Harden. Because it's like, you think about it, just put James Harden on the team they have now. If Westbrook had been healthy the whole year, and be like, oh my God. But I don't know if we see 72.
I don't think you'll ever see 72 again, because that was such a unique year with the Bulls. Michael having something to prove, and he was after championships, and to go out and put a team on his back like he always done. But with MJ, it's more goals that he wanted to accomplish, and he knew when it was time to completely give it up. He couldn't do it anymore.
Did it make you mad that you just didn't get to be a Bull your whole career?
Well,
when you look back at that, do you feel like, oh man, like those are my dudes?
Well, if I say yes, I wouldn't have had the opportunity and the chance to play with Kobe and
guys.
Shaq and
live
Carl
in different cities.
I think my career ran its course how it should have. Chicago is still a great place to go back and see friends.
But there is an alternate universe where they kind of handle everything a little bit better with everybody. The Kukoc thing isn't as kind of awkward with everybody coming out of the gate as it happened to be. Jordan doesn't leave to play baseball. Mm-hmm. You guys just keep cranking out titles.
I can honestly say that, the Bulls have won 6. Maybe it could have been 9, maybe 10. You never know.
Yeah, 6. I would say the over/under was 6. But I mean, there is a scenario where it could have been 9.
Easily, because once you're up there, and how competitive we were as a team and as individuals, when people come in, and I remember when we lose one game, it was silence on the bus and on the plane. It was no joking. We were all thinking, how in the heck did we lose that game? And if we lost 2, it was like it was death in the family or something.
Right.
Because we're the Bulls, and we don't lose games like that. And that's the mentality we had, and that's why I said we, could have been about 9.
I love Scottie Pippen. I wrote a 700-page basketball book and defended the living hell out of him. I think he's one of the best 25 players ever. He had one moment in that playoff series when he didn't want to come into the game, and it kind of trailed him his whole career. Where I think it was Game 4 against the Knicks.
Yeah.
They call the play for Kukoc. He gets mad. He doesn't come in. And in my opinion, I mean, obviously he didn't handle that correctly, but you know, that whole season he had carried the team. Jordan, there's no Jordan. He's doing everything. He's in the peak of his career. He wins the All-Star Game MVP. Every play you guys runs through him, and he kind of felt like he had earned that shot. I don't think he should be judged by one in-the-moment decision, but when that happened, I know it was painful for everybody.
Yeah, it was a painful moment. Not to defend Scotty, but he was our leader that year, and we felt that everything should have went through him. He should have had that last shot.
But then weirdly, Kukoc made it.
I know,
That was the part that screwed it up.
that's the Zen master.
Right.
That's the Zen master. And Phil wanted Scotty to be a decoy. And, you know, to be a leader, you know, you have to sacrifice some things. But, you know, if we had to do it all over again, get the ball to Scotty and Scotty make the shot, and then everybody's happy. And you can't define his career or his legacy over one action.
Right.
Not at all. Because all the things that he's done for the Bulls and the NBA outweighs that one moment.
I thought it was also the most fascinating thing Phil Jackson ever did, the way he handled it. He just let you guys handle it in the locker room. He didn't go in there.
No.
And you and Bill Cartwright was crying. Like, it was this emotional locker room. Bill Cartwright's, I forget what he said, but just basically like, I can't believe you did that to us. And you guys handled it, and Phil Jackson wasn't even in there.
No. I mean, Bill, he handled it, correctly. You have a old, wise veteran like Bill Cartwright, who's been around the block a few times, get up and say what he had to say, and you saw tears coming out of his eyes. And that moment solidified in Scotty's heart that he had done something wrong.
Right.
And, you know, we all forgave him, and it was water under the bridge. You know, we embraced and should have won the championship that year.
And then the NBA, one of the worst calls of all time. You didn't foul him, right? Was it Scotty?
No, it wasn't a foul.
Well, you didn't fake foul him, I should say.
Yeah, Scotty,
That was horrible. A dark moment.
Hugh Hollins, I'm sorry. But you have Hubert Davis shooting a jumper. You have Scottie Pippen, Hall of Famer, not then, but superstar, going up, almost blocking the shot. Ball leaves Hubert's hand and like this. And you call a foul with 2 seconds, 3 seconds left on the clock in a moment like that? No. No. The Bulls should have been in the finals that year. And that was one of the calls that would hunt us for a while.
It was a tough one. I don't know if you beat the Rockets, but I think you would have made the finals.
We would have beating New York, we would have beat Indiana.
You would have beat Indiana.
Yeah,
I agree with you.
Yeah, but
you matched up nice with Indiana.
Yeah, but
and Scotty was playing out of his mind that season.
Why he didn't get MVP that year?
He was in the mix.
I mean, that guy was on top.
I forgot to ask you. You're on the 0-1 Lakers. Kobe, that was the year he started spreading his wings a little bit. Had his first scoring streak. Started to be a little your team or my team dynamic, and you would just live through that with Shaq and Penny. Were you thinking to yourself like, "Oh my God, is this happening again?"
I'm like, this is a Twilight Zone. Is this deja vu all over again? But
could you feel it happening though? You could feel something going on.
Oh yeah, Kobe was that cocoon, that moth wanted to spread his wing. If Shaq had stayed there, Kobe wouldn't have been Kobe. Not at all. And I think it was on best for Shaq and Kobe to just depart from each other. Shaq won another one in Miami, and Kobe got to be Kobe Bryant all along.
It's funny though, the revisionist history. I saw Shaq on TV 2 weeks ago, and Barkley asked him, How many titles do you think you guys would have won together if you guys hadn't screwed it up? And Shaq's like, we didn't screw it up. There was nothing wrong. It was the Lakers didn't want to pay me. And it's like, as the years go on, it's like, come on, you guys hated each other. What are you talking about? You guys had to get away from each other. Like, but I guess as the years pass, people, the narrative kind of changes.
Yeah, it wasn't money. They just didn't get along.
Bad fit.
Yeah. I mean,
well, also, like, Kobe's one of those guys that, his life revolves around basketball. Shaq, not a guy whose life revolves around basketball. It was one of the many things he did.
Yeah,
that's the crux of the issue.
Yeah, I mean, Kobe, lived and breathed basketball, worked on his craft on the off season, and Shaq was Shaq was so dominant that he felt that he didn't have to do that.
Right.
And he wanted to enjoy life. I think Shaq philosophy, basketball isn't my life. I got other things that I want to do in the off season. But Kobe, he ate, breathed, drank basketball.
Right. I describe Shaq as the guy who could have gotten a 4.0 in college, but he ended up with the 3.5, but he had the most fun time out of anyone in college, and he's totally cool with it. I can't really blame him either.
See, that's the great thing about Shaq. He was so dominant that, I don't need to go over here. I'm gonna enjoy this cheeseburger right here.
Right.
I'm gonna enjoy the limelight. I'm gonna enjoy myself. And then when it's time to go out and produce, I'm gonna be there.
Right. 91, you guys ripped through the playoffs, the first title. It was kind of a secretly great playoff team. I think you lost 2 games. One of them was OT on the Perkins shot, and then you lost one other. You lost 2 or 3 games, I can't remember. 01, the second title, where you were there. That team was ridiculous. They basically came from an overtime game in the finals from sweeping the playoffs, which has never happened. Really bad regular season for what the talent was. But then the playoffs, 15-1. What team was better, you feel like, in the playoffs?
I would say that 01.
01, interesting.
01, because, the West was tough, going through Portland and Sacramento and San Antonio. I mean, we had a niche, we had a chemistry that, I haven't felt in years. As you said, the regular season was subpar, but, we came together during that playoff because we had one goal, and that's to win that championship. And that's another question. We keep guys there for a few more years. It could have been 4 or 5 championships.
Right.
You never know because guys are still hitting their prime.
So 01 Lakers versus 91 Bulls. You think the Lakers are a slight favorite, but then there's the MJ factor.
Yeah, it's the MJ factor because knowing MJ, he would have neutralized Shaq. I'm telling you, man.
He would have figured it out? Would have come weak side, kept stripping
weak side or something. Michael watched a lot of film. And the things that people don't know that, he will find out the little niche to go around to neutralize, say, Shaq or even Kobe. Yeah, that's MJ.
All right, last question, then we're going to plug your charity. The Morris twins, they're kind of on your corner. With the Grants. You had the Grants, the Van Arsdales, the famous brothers over the years. The Morris twins now in Phoenix, they're going to make the playoffs. They're getting a little buzz. Break it down, the Grants versus the Morrises.
The Morrises wouldn't have a chance.
No chance?
No chance.
2-on-2, you kill the Morrises.
2. I mean, that's what Harvey was more outside. He was with the Bullets at the time, the Wizards now. He averaged about 18, 19 points.
Harvey was good.
Yeah, he was.
He just was on bad teams.
Yeah, exactly. And me down low, they wouldn't have the chance. I mean,
was that at some point, like at age 8, you guys just decided, I'm down low, you're out on the perimeter? Or did it just, is it DNA? What is it?
It was more of a DNA. I'm a lot bigger, and, I ate more than he did. I took his
Harvey
food.
was skinnier.
Yeah, I took his food.
So you took his food. That's what happened.
You darn right. Yeah, I had to eat more because I knew I was going to be on the Bulls one day.
These guys now are gigantic, though.
Oh man.
You would have to put a lot more weight room.
Oh
time
my
in.
goodness! I mean, you have LeBron James at 6'8",
280.
and man, he had his shirt off the other day, doing that dunk contest.
saw it.
And I'm like,
He's bigger than Karl Malone was.
wow, yeah, that's saying
And
a
Karl
lot.
Malone, when you played, was like the guy that everyone's like, oh my God, look at that guy. And LeBron's bigger than him.
Yeah, it's scary. I'm glad I'm retired.
Plug your charity.
Okay, we have a charity called Area 54. It's outreach program for kids. They come in and, we have activities, computers, the whole 9 yards to keep them off the streets. And we also have
Based in California?
In California, in San Luis Obispo.
Okay.
It's just technology. It's going to be a state-of-the-art facility also in terms of kids training, staying fit. It's something needed there badly.
Website?
The website is www.area54.com.
Easy to remember.
Yes, indeed.
Well, this was fun. I enjoyed myself,
Oh,
Horace Grant.
Thanks.
I'm glad that I feel like you guys would have killed the Morris twins too. I feel like you guys would be heavy favorites because Harvey was underrated. People remember you, but Harvey was just on all these bad teams. Nobody had league pass back then.
I know, I know, and and plus, I had the goggles, so that
That's true. All right, thank you.
Bill,
Appreciate it.
all right, buddy. Take care.
Back in New Orleans with more legends and all-stars next 48 hours here.